I was having some technical difficulties in trying to hit go live and it wasn't going
It
live
didn't
there
go
for a
live.
minute. Yeah. Took me like a couple minutes just to hit go live there. But yeah, once again, we're just casually late.
It's the dinner again.
Yeah, because we had some
And
yummy.
it's always me. I should plan more ahead, like have
It's
it.
okay.
But I'm always like, well, that shouldn't take. It was just heating up some stuff tonight. It wasn't like it was major, but anyway. As again, we've always given ourselves that 30 minutes.
Yes.
So.
Right? And as you pile in, come on in and say hey.
Yeah. Come on in.
As usual. Welcome to Two Chicks Tell All. I'm Tay Tay.
And I'm Christy. Oh, I actually said my real name tonight. See, I've been on vacation. My brain's still on vacation, and then it's been since I won't say the other word, but since I got back to work, now my foot's cramping. And so yeah, my was a little out of sorts, and my foot's cramping really bad.
Oh, that's not good.
Ow.
My hand's been cramping a lot lately. I don't know if it's because like I use it a lot or something.
It's like the worst. I think I turned my foot the wrong way and it made it cramp. So
yeah.
Okay, working it out here.
Working it out. So big thanks to my mom who was my co-host last week.
Yes. That was awesome.
She said that she was really nervous, but once she got started, it was actually pretty easy for her. So that was good. And I was explaining to her how StreamYard works, and she thought it was pretty neat. I was like, oh yeah, if you look up at the little corner, it'll tell you how many people are watching and stuff like that. And she thought that was pretty cool because my mom's not really technologically with it. So I kind of had to explain to her like how StreamYard works. So she thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually managed to keep it pretty clean, which was
right.
Good.
Yeah. I know, that's why I said so. Any dirty questions?
No, I mean, it was just kind of like some random like interview questions, really. And then we just kind of talked a little bit about like our mother-daughter relationship a little bit. So it was kind of interesting. For those that tuned in, you heard it, and it was pretty interesting. So thanks to everybody who watched the replay or listened to it live. We appreciate it. So, yeah. Cece's back, and I'm excited.
I'm back. Yeah, I had a great vacation. I was at the beach with 4 of my other gals, and we go to Edisto every year and had a house on the beach, and it had these awesome views. Like there's windows all around this house, and so you wake up in the morning and literally you just see the water, and you see, if you're in that house all day, you see it from not the bedrooms, but you're never in the bedrooms when you're there. But if you're in the living room area or on the little side porch, where we call it the puzzle room, because that's where we put the puzzle together. Yeah. And it was kind of funny because they started on the puzzle, and I would just randomly go in there. I just can't sit still that long, I don't think. And sometimes I get into it, but I was just kind of, I guess, not into the puzzles this year. But I did spot out a few pieces, but they were determined to get it put together. And so the last night we were there, I go to bed. I was always the early one to bed because I would be the first one up, early riser. So I went to bed and I woke up to go pee at like 2 a.m. And my room was off to the hallway that looked into like where you could see into the living room in that little puzzle room. And I noticed the light was on, and one of the ladies was still up in there working on the puzzle, and it was 2 a.m. I looked at my watch and I went, they really are determined they're going to get that puzzle together. I would have gone in there and helped, but I was naked, and I was like, I better not go in there and scare my friend. But so anyway, when I got up the next morning, I went there and looked, and it was not completed. I mean, they got so close, but it ended up they didn't finish it, so it got put back in the box. But
right,
I had the hardest one that I bought. And I worked on it here. I think we worked on it. My aunt was here. And this puzzle, the pieces were all the same.
Oh, wow.
All the same.
That had to be difficult.
All the same. Yeah. And they weren't very big. And I think my eyesight's gotten so bad now. It's kind of a pain in the butt. It's like looking at those small pieces. But anyway, and I prefer to be out there on the beach. So.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. If I'm at the beach, I'm out at the beach. Yeah. That's what's up.
But it was good. So yeah, back here now. Dealing with reality again.
Listen, I hear that. Reality. I am still trying to get my condo sold. I have not had any showings yet.
I told Tay.
Yeah.
check with that realtor.
Yeah, I need to go hit my realtor up and be like, hey,
yeah,
no showings yet. What can we do?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've just been working really hard at just keeping the place clean. Just in case, you know,
right?
I'm gonna get a notification that I have a showing right in the middle of the day.
Right? Yeah. Better make sure everything's put up.
Right.
So yeah, tonight our episode, we're just gonna go through some 80s stuff here.
Yeah, we're gonna do like 80s trends, 80s music, 80s movies,
facts,
TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows.
Yeah, just all sorts of stuff.
A little bit of everything here for the 80s. Right. I actually learned some stuff too. Now I was only 10, mind you, but this is a whole 80s. I wasn't born yet. So I was, by the time the 80s ended in 90, so 89, you know, I was up there a little bit more in age. So I do remember some of this stuff better than others when I was probably a lot younger. Because I really didn't remember. I'll tell you, just give you this quick one and then I'll let Tay take it over. But the John Lennon was shot then. I thought he was shot.
I knew that.
Shot like earlier than that, like in the 70s or something. But anyway, so yeah. Hopefully you might learn a little stuff tonight.
Yeah, see, I'm just an old soul. Like all my friends are like 20 years older than me. I listen to like 80s music. I don't really associate with people my age because they're kind of too much for me. I'd rather just go out and cut up and laugh and have fun. So I have a tendency to gravitate more towards the older crowds. So I'm kind of into like the older music just because my parents kind of raised me on the good stuff is what I say.
Right.
So, and my dad was like a big music fan. So he was always playing music all the time. I think there's a VHS tape, by the way.
What? That's on my list.
From whenever,
that's on my list.
From whenever my mom had one of those very big video cameras whenever they first came out. I'm sure it's somewhere where my dad is like playing the accordion and I'm just like jamming with him. So
yeah, we had one of those. No, that was the first camera my mom. I was thinking about these pictures that we went to the state house and took with the feeding the pigeons and the squirrels and stuff. But that was our first camera. I mean, we did have one of those recorders.
And that was such a neat invention when like it first came out because you could actually like videotape things live.
Right, yeah.
And you could hold like memories on videotape. So that was kind of interesting whenever that came about. When did that come about anyway?
VHS tapes are actually on my list. So that was in the 80s when that came out.
Or like video, I guess like the first like video camera.
Right, yeah, that probably would have been probably around that same time.
Yeah, because I'm a 90s baby. So I know that we had one and I don't know how long we had it, you know, whenever I was around. So I don't know. But yeah, we had one of those like big honking ones that you put the VHS tapes in.
Right, the whole
It was almost like, you know how whenever they videotape TV shows, it was almost like that big of a camera, I feel like.
Right, yeah. Oh yeah, they were big.
They were big whenever
they got heavy after a while. Like you definitely didn't want to be filming something for a couple of hours. Now, I don't even know how much those tapes held, but those things would get heavy after a while.
Yeah.
I actually had an uncle even going back further than that though. He had one of the old recorders that did like the 8mm film. And we still have, as a matter of fact, I think when I moved, my aunt kept it at her house, but we still have the projector.
Yeah.
And the reels of that film. And we tried to play it one Christmas.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize that there wasn't a bulb in the projector.
Oh my gosh.
So we still need to get, but I mean, it plugged up and it ran, so it works. But is that not crazy? 8mm, that was probably way back in the 60s.
And I remember like back in the day, whenever like they didn't have DVR and stuff like that, you had to literally videotape something on a VHS
that
tape.
Was probably more in the 90s because I think that was VHS was in the 80s. Yeah.
Because I remember my mom would like videotape things on TV. Like she videotaped a Shania Twain concert off a TV one time because we were all like Shania Twain fans, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, she videotaped one of those like onto a VHS tape, and I'm sure it's somewhere because I swear that my family keeps everything. I don't think they're considered hoarders necessarily, but they definitely hold on to things. Like I remember whenever we were cleaning out my grandparents' house, whenever they were getting ready to downsize, my grandma had like old like school projects from whenever my aunts and uncles and mom was little.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've told you the stories about my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I found, and still to this day find stuff. Like I actually found she kept the receipt from the hotel that her and my dad stayed at on their honeymoon night. And the cost of the hotel room was $5 now. $5. And then she had within the envelope that was in, she had the receipt for the furniture that they bought for the apartment they moved into.
Yeah.
I mean, she kept everything. Like, no lie, every time I go home, I think my dad and I finally got through all of the filing cabinets that were in the house. But she had taxes and stuff back from, taxes. You don't have to hold on those, 10 years, 7 or 10 or something, 5 or something. It's not even that. But she had taxes back from like the 80s and the 90s and all that. And bills, like the electric bill. It was insane. Like, we had to box up all this stuff for my dad to get to one of those free shred things because you just don't want to toss that stuff. But it was insane. My mother kept everything. So, yeah. So excuse me, sorry, I got a cough.
Yeah, we got into a tangent there. So I guess.
All right, so back to
back to the topic at hand.
There you go.
So, what clothing was popular in the 1980s? So I didn't know because I wasn't around.
I know. Well, that's why it's cool that you looked up this stuff because this will be cool to see what, if anything, I recall.
Okay.
From that time, because like I said, if you think about the whole span of the age, that's 10 years. I was a little bit older towards the end of the 80s.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't born until a decade later.
Yeah.
So 80s fashion included high-waisted trousers, printed blouses, bright head and wrist sweatbands.
Oh yeah, I remember the sweatbands.
Ankle boots, members-only jackets.
Oh my God, yes, had one of those.
And polka-dotted dresses. Women then preferred bold, oversized clothing and paired outfits with big hoops, fanny packs, bandanas, chunky jewelry, and socks. So that's just some of the different clothing that was popular back in the 80s. So what was the preppy clothing brand in the 80s? What was like the big brand that everybody, had to have?
Okay, let me try to guess. Was it Esprit? Okay, Esprit, 80s. That's the only one I can kind of come to my freaking mind. Okay, what is it?
So popular brands like Lacoste and Ralph Lauren were top picks in the 1980s when it came to polo shirts.
Right, okay.
It was a trend inspired by the leisure activities commonly participated in by Ivy League students, which included polo, horseback riding, tennis, sailing, hunting, fencing, golf, tennis, and more. So that was like those were like two of the big preppy clothing brands.
Their catalogs are still insane. Like that Ralph Lauren Christmas catalog is insane.
Yes. So I just started looking up some other little like random factoids, I guess. So what was the biggest selling single in 1982? So this was like the first result that I found, which I found later, the biggest selling singles of like each year. But the biggest selling single of 1982 was "Come On Eileen" by Dex. Is it Dexys?
Yes.
Dexys Midnight Runners. Number 2 was "Fame" by Irene Cara. Number 3 was "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor. And 4 was "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" by Tight Fit. So there were like the top 4, I guess, of the best-selling singles of 1982.
And it's funny because that band that did that "Come On Eileen," I don't think they ever. I wonder if that was like a one-hit wonder band because I don't really recall like remembering them doing anything else other than that song.
So let's see. So I have like the, I guess, music that like topped the charts in the 80s, or this was in 82. What I guess like topped the charts back then. So Come On Eileen was number 1. Fame. Okay, so the first 4 all stayed the same. But then we got into Do You Really Want to Hurt Me by Culture Club.
Oh my God.
I love Boy George.
My dad loved Boy George, which I think is so funny.
I don't know what it is, but I love Boy George.
Come a Camellia. My dad loved that song.
I like what's that one? I'm thinking of it. I'll tumble for you.
Oh yeah.
I like that one. Pass the Dutchie by Musical Youth.
What the heck? I don't think I've ever heard of that song.
I Don't Want to Dance by Eddie Grant. Yeah, I hadn't heard of some of these. 7 Tears by Goombay Dance Band. Never heard of it.
Never heard of that.
Ebony and Ivory by Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder.
Finally something we've heard of.
Town Called Malice Precious by Jam.
Never heard of that.
Golden Brown by Stranglers. Mad World by Tears for Fears.
Okay, yeah.
Personally, Tears for Fears, one of my all-time favorite bands. Like, I love Tears for Fears. Mickey by Tony Basil. Love Plus One by Haircut 100. I don't really know who they are.
Oh, I wonder if that was Mickey, you're so fine, you're so fine.
Yeah, that was
Hey, Mickey.
Yeah, that's that one.
Okay, I love that damn song.
I don't know about Love Plus One by Haircut 100. I don't know that one.
Never heard of that one.
The model Computer Love by Kraftwerk. I've never heard of that one. So yeah, if you're listening to the replay, let us know what some of these songs are, because we don't know.
Heard of them. We have no clue.
Oh Jolie by Shakin' Stevens. Goody Two Shoes by Adamant. I love me some
yeah, okay.
Goody Two Shoes.
What you think? Or something.
I like that one. Heartbreaker by Dionne Warwick. I don't know that one. Only You by Yazoo and Don't Go by Yazoo. Never heard of it. Walking on Sunshine by Rockers Revenge. I don't know.
Walking on Sunshine. Yeah, it makes me feel good.
Zoom by Fat Larry's Band. Don't know that one. Save Your Love by Renee and Renato.
Maybe, no.
I don't know that one. I Won't Let You Down by PhD. Just an Illusion by Imagination. Don't know that one. Star Maker by, I think this is the kids from Fame, like the Fame TV show is what I want to say. Hard to Say I'm Sorry by Chicago. I love I like Chicago a lot. Abracadabra by Steve Miller Band. I like that one. All right, so this next one, just one of my all-time. The Look of Love by ABC.
Yes.
So that music video makes no sense whatsoever, but I absolutely adore it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And Martin Fry, the lead singer, I always say that he gives me like David Bowie vibes. Because I don't know, they have a lot of like similarities with like the crazy like outfits and stuff like that. Which I love me some like 80s new wave.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Let's see. Centerfold by Jay Giles Band.
You know, I really love that band. I thought they were awesome. They did a couple really cool songs.
Yeah,
does she? I think that was like one of the songs where my girls in the neighborhood and I, we would do these dances up to them, you know, and like have our little moves going on and stuff. That was when we did it.
Yes. House of Fun by Madness. I don't know what that is.
No.
The Land of Make Believe by Bucks Fizz. Don't know that. Maid of Orleans by Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
What the heck?
Which I know who Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark are, but I never heard that song. Young Guns, Go For It by Wham, which I love me some Wham.
Yeah, but I don't think I remember
Love
that
me
song.
some George Michael.
I don't think I remember that. Young Guns.
Yeah. Ain't No Pleasing You by Chas and Dave. Don't know. Save a Prayer by Duran Duran, which I love Duran Duran, but I've never heard that song.
A couple of them on there.
It Ain't What You Do by Fun Boy 3 with Bananarama.
What the heck?
A Little Piece by Nicole. Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran. There
wow,
we go.
they had a lot on there.
I know. My Camera Never Lies by Bucks Fizz.
He had another one on there, I think.
It Started With a Kiss by Hot Chocolate. Fantasy Island by Tight Fit. Dead Ringer for Love by Meatloaf, which I liked Meatloaf because he would write like 14-minute songs.
And
have like
he did I Would Do Anything.
Yes.
Love. Yeah.
And like the music videos again
I won't do that.
Were super extravagant and probably didn't make any sense, but you know.
Right, yeah.
It was wonderful. We were here for it. Definitely. Inside Out by Odyssey. I don't know. I don't think I know that one.
No.
Torch by Soft Cell, which I know who Soft Cell is, but I never heard that. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Hope you're feeling good. This Time We'll Get It Right by England World Cup Squad.
Never heard of them.
Don't know. Say Hello, Wave Goodbye by Soft Cell. I've Never Been to Me by Charlene. I don't know who Charlene is.
I know, right? I have no lie. I mean, like I said, I was latter 80s, but I would think I would know more of these. Mirror
Man by Human League. And Papa's Got a Brand New Pig Bag
Human
by
League,
Pig Bag.
I remember that band.
I like Human League.
Didn't they have...
they had a couple of songs.
Was Tears for Fears an 80s band too?
Yes, they were on the list. They had Mad World was on here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so that's just like some music that hit the charts during the 80s. So who was the number one selling artist of the 1980s? Michael Jackson. I'm bad, you know it.
Thriller. No lie, who of you out there did that dance and learned that dance?
So,
yeah. So, I mean, that one was a hard one though.
So I can reference this story because I'm not like referencing any names or anything. But I worked with special needs kids and I worked with a little boy who had Down syndrome. And his favorite holiday was Halloween. So whenever Halloween hit, he wanted to like start playing Halloween music back in like August.
Right.
You know, he was ready for it. And, you know, we would play a little bit of it, you know, because why not? You know, you only live once.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so he enjoyed doing the Thriller dance and like he could do it pretty good too.
Yeah.
You know, like I think people a lot of the times just like dismiss special needs kids and think that they aren't like capable of doing a lot of things.
Some of them have major talent.
And they don't, you know, and they don't know how to do a lot of things and stuff like that. Well, you're wrong because they can do a lot more than some like typically developing people can. Yeah.
So and kudos to those groups and organizations out there that specifically hire those kids too with special needs.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I mean, I've seen plenty of stories on like the CBS. That's the only really news show I watch, so it had to be on there.
Right.
But, you know, and come across other random stories and stuff on Facebook. Right. About these people that hire, you know, and these kids just thrive. So, you know, they're just like every other kid, you know.
Definitely.
They have special, you know, like in other ways can just do awesome things, you know.
But yeah, this little boy with Down syndrome that I used to work with, he loved to do the Thriller dance. And it was cool. He loved it. Like I said, if it was up to him, he'd probably listen to Halloween music year round. I'm like, you go for it, kid. All right. So who sold the most albums in the 80s? Oh, hi, Michael S. Good to see you. So Michael Jackson also sold the most albums in the 80s. Yeah. I didn't find that to be too much of a shocker, to be honest. So now I just kind of looked up like the number one, I guess, like best-selling single of each year. So 1980 was Don't Stand So Close to Me by The Police. Don't stand so close I love The Police. They're probably one of my all-time favorites. I love Sting. I just love it all. So yeah, I didn't realize that song was like very early 80s though. I guess I never realized that. 1981 was Tainted Love by Soft Cell.
Love that song.
1982, we went over that, was Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners. 1983, Karma Chameleon by
There
Culture
you
Club.
go,
Karma Chameleon. Ba-ba-bum. Okay, that's a good one.
He cracks me up. I like that song.
1984, Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid. Which, I think that's kind of interesting that a Christmas song was the one that kind of like was the big song that year.
Right, yeah.
1985, The Power of Love by Jennifer Rush. I don't know this one, but if anybody in the chat has heard this one, tell me about it, because I don't know this one. Do you know that one?
No, I was going to look it up on Spotify.
Okay.
The Power of Love.
The Power of Love by Jennifer Rush. Okay. 1986, Don't Leave Me This Way by the Communards. Don't know. Oh, so Michael S. said that We Know It. Celine Dion covered it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now, yeah.
All right.
It's crazy though because it sounds a lot like now that you said that.
Yeah.
That sounds like her too.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So look up "Don't Leave Me This Way" by the Communards, because I don't know that one.
Don't leave me this way.
It's a disco classic. So it's a disco classic redone. Oh, I know this one. Okay. Don't leave me this way. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I know this one. I think, anyway.
We'll fast forward into it. All right, I don't think I really know that one though.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. 1987, Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
Oh, there you go.
We all got Rick rolled there for a second.
Yeah.
So Michael S. said, I would say Whitney probably started dominating the late 80s. Yeah, I think so too.
Oh, yeah.
So 1988, Mistletoe and Wine by Cliff Richard. Don't know. It's a festive tune. And it's very much like Marmite. You either love or hate it. That's what it says. See what that one is. Listen, I got CC on Spotify.
And what?
Mistletoe and Wine by Cliff Richard. The hell is somebody playing a xylophone?
Right? All right, let me speed up a little. What's a Christmas? That's all I can read, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know.
Anyway, 1989, Ride on Time by Black Box.
Oh, yeah. I'm riding on time.
So it's,
yeah, that was on.
Look up that one.
That was the disco. That was playing in the clubs now.
Well,
band, what is it? Ride on Time band.
Black Box.
Oh wait, Black Box.
So I was just like reading the little explanation they give this, and it says, as with Milli Vanilli, this Italian house track caused some controversy when it came to light that the lady in the video was actually a model and she didn't sing a note.
That was a club song.
Well, CNC Music Factory did that same thing too.
Right.
You know, they had a girl lip syncing.
Yeah, that was like an awesome song back in the club day.
Oh, that's a good song.
Right on time. Right on time. Gotta get up. Gotta get up. Yeah, you wanna download that one. It's pretty cool.
Okay, so now just like, I guess this is like the top 15 bands from the 80s. So number 1 is Motley Crue.
Oh yeah, these are all good. A lot of heavy metal bands here.
Yes.
Was the heavy metal band.
Number 2 was Bon Jovi. 3 was Van Halen.
Exactly.
4, Guns N' Roses.
That's hilarious.
5, who do you think 5 is? I told you.
Aerosmith. No, wait, Journey.
Metallica.
Oh, oh, damn, I was going to say that.
Listen, we got to get heavy and then go slow.
Right, yeah.
So,
up there.
Foreigner. I absolutely love Foreigner.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of funny. So, Lou Gramm, who was the lead singer of Foreigner, had a solo career. And I think I might actually like his solo stuff more than I like what he did with Foreigner.
I don't think I've ever
heard
of
Which is kind of weird. Yeah, I think he's phenomenal. I think, anyway. That's my personal opinion. And number 7 is Don't Stop Believing. Journey.
Hold on to that feeling.
Yes. I
actually saw them in concert and I won tickets. This was a funny story. So my friend and I, and we had our boyfriends were down, like they were in college. I guess we felt special because we were still in high school. So, and I was dating my best friend's roommate in college. Well, they were down and everything. Well, we had gone out. We just ran up to the store or something. And so we got back to my mom's and it was weird because like my neighbor's mom was over there and they were just sitting around. It was kind of like just odd. Like it was like they were waiting on something kind of thing. You know, smiling and stuff. And so the phone rings and my mom answers it and then she hands me the phone and it was the radio station and they were calling because they had drawn my name for backstage passes for Journey.
What?
Yeah, because I went on the radio. And so, and they had called the house when we weren't there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my mom was like, oh, they won't be gone long or whatever. So she told them to call back in an hour or something. So they were like sitting around waiting for them to call back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we got to go backstage. Only thing was, though, Steve Perry, like apparently on one of the other shows, somebody threw something on stage and it hit him in the face, like a bracelet or something.
Yeah.
So he was being a shit. Sorry.
And it's okay.
He didn't come out to meet all the people, like the other band
members. Oh, see, I would have been highly
Oh, we were mad. My friend and I were like, what?
Pissed off.
Like, wasn't anybody from the concert they did, you know, that we were at that did that. It was like from the previous show.
Yeah.
Don't hold us accountable for that crap.
I know, right?
Whoever did that Steve Perry. Should be ashamed. He caused me to miss meeting Steve Perry.
I know, right? We want some Steve Perry.
Steve
Come on
Perry,
now.
You out there? Yeah. Come on.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That's really upsetting.
It was a good concert, though.
It probably was a good concert. The closest thing I've seen is a Journey tribute, and they were actually pretty spot on. Like, if I shut my eyes and just listen to it, like, I could have swore that it was freaking Journey. So, that was pretty cool.
That's when you know it's a good band.
ZZ Top.
Oh, hell yeah. She's got legs.
Short dress man. Dun, 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 dun.
They have some good songs.
All right. So number 10. This is a band that I would have loved to have seen before the lead singer passed on. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Oh, yeah.
Love Tom Petty.
Such good music.
He does. I also like that song that he does with Stevie Nicks a lot too. Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Let's see. Oh, what was that supposed to be? Oh, Poison.
Another, yeah.
Every rose has its thorn. 12 is Def Leppard.
Dang, there were so many. That's hard. Now that it's like you're reading all this, it's crazy. There were so many of those bands back then. 13 was Devo. Like, crack that whip. Yeah.
Let's see. 14 was Aerosmith. You had said about Aerosmith earlier.
Oh yeah.
14 was Aerosmith.
Yeah.
15 was Queen. I would have loved to.
We are the champions.
I absolutely adore Freddie Mercury. Yeah. That's another person that I would have loved to have seen before he passed on. Which, like I said, the closest thing I've seen was a Freddie Mercury impersonator, and he was really good, actually. Not as good as Freddie Mercury, but, good still. Very good.
Yeah. He pulled it off.
He pulled it off very well. So, what was the most viewed music video in the 1980s? What do you think it was?
Had to be Thriller or something if it was Michael Jackson was up there so much.
So, maybe. Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Jeez.
So it surpassed 1 billion views on YouTube, making it the first music video from the 1980s to ever do so.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so Michael S., you had mentioned this, so it made the list. Who was the best-selling female artist of the 1980s? Whitney Houston.
Yep.
Which I kind of figured. Let's see. And that's really all the information that I have.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I also just, because I didn't know what direction we were exactly going with this, so I actually took some notes on just like some of my favorites. So I guess like some of my favorite movies from the 80s, I'll just name off a few. The Outsiders. If you don't love The Outsiders, something's wrong with you. That is like the best coming of age story. It had a whole bunch of famous people in it from that point in time. Very good. But I know that they didn't mention that movie anywhere really. Seems to be forgotten sometimes. And Say Anything, which was another great movie from the 80s. I'm just naming off a couple of my favorites. And Lean on Me, which starred Morgan Freeman. Fantastic movie. Which, and we had talked about some of our favorite songs, so I don't really need to go over that bit of info. But I'm kind of surprised that there was one certain person that didn't make any list. So I'm surprised that like INXS didn't make any lists.
Oh yeah.
Or like Prince.
What you need done. That was
yes.
a great song.
Or Prince. I'm surprised Prince didn't make any list. That's another person that I would have loved to have seen before he passed on. Hi, Donna Kay.
I think my brother actually went and saw him because I think he came to Columbia at one point, and I always think my brother went and saw him.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink's a good one, Donna Kay. I had that on my list actually. Another song that I feel like should have topped the charts, but it didn't, was Head Over Heels by Tears for Fears. I think
that was a great song.
I think that's a better song than Mad World, but you know, that's just my personal opinion, and it's not popular. And Annie Lennox and their Eurythmics weren't on any list.
Yeah.
And I think they're phenomenal too.
Right, yeah.
So probably my favorite song by them would be like Would I Lie to You.
Oh, that was a good song.
That's just yeah. So yeah, that just kind of ends my
Sweet Dreams was good too.
Sweet Dreams is good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that she did that was just fantastic.
There was one song that CD, and I probably couldn't think of the name of it because it
I
wasn't
put a spell on you. I like that one.
That was not like probably popular, but I have one of their CDs, and I was like, this song's awesome.
All right, so Cece has a little bit of a portion to go through.
Alrighty.
Oh wait, Animal Lover, well, aka Chris, doesn't know who Annie Lennox is. You need to go Google it because
she's good.
Oh, phenomenal!
Awesome. Yeah,
phenomenal. You need to go look it up. Anyway,
yeah, she was good stuff. Good stuff.
Yes.
All right, so what I did was just kind of dived a little into like some of the most memorable events of the 80s, and some of these I kind of recall because, like I said, I was around in that span of the 10 years, maturing a little more. I just don't have, I don't think I have really good memory. So I don't remember, my aunt can remember a bunch of stuff, and it would be stuff like when she was even really young. And I'm thinking, how do you remember this stuff? Because I can't remember what I did last week, let alone what I was doing when I was 10 flipping years old. So anyway, so this is some of the stuff that happened within the 80s. So
right.
The first space shuttle, the Columbia launch, was lifted off. That was in 1981.
Oh, wow.
U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev eased tensions between the two superpowers, leading to the end of the Cold War.
That is a big event.
Yeah, that was a major event. Yep.
Yes.
The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, which that was weird. I thought that was another thing I thought happened sooner than that. But that was actually considered to be one of the most memorable events in the 80s. John Lennon was shot and killed.
Which we thought that happened sooner
too. Yeah. And that was December of the 80s. some of these have years on, some don't. CNN was launched. Which I
what
think
is that?
CNN, which I'm like, damn, I thought CNN had been around for like
Sorry,
ever.
so
stuff.
Every time I think of CNN, okay, so my granddad, God love him, he'll be 90 this month and he's still way kicking,
right, yeah.
And we're just like, we're so grateful, and whatever. So he had a point in his life where he would watch CNN all day.
Oh God. My uncle, when he used to go to the beach with us when we were vacation,
yeah,
that man could have it on CNN all day and news and stuff. And I'm like, you're on vacation. Like, for one, why are you sitting in the house or you're being on the beach? But anyway, he was a different, people have what they have. But yeah, I was like, come on, get off the flipping news. And now, I don't want to see that shit when I'm on vacation.
And now my granddad just binge watches Everybody Loves Raymond. That's his.
Hey, well, that's good. Yeah, at least
I think
he got off the news.
Yeah, he's seen every episode of that show probably like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he gets on kicks though. Like there was one time where he was like binging Seinfeld all the time.
Oh my God, how funny!
So it's just like he gets into like a mood where it's like he wants to watch a different TV show all the time.
Good.
So I think that's
good humor than if they were the shows he's picking to watch. Okay, so. The assassination attempt also on Pope John II happened.
My.
He was shot, but he did survive it. Sandra Day O'Connor was approved unanimously 99-0 by the U.S. Senate to become the first female Supreme Court judge. Woo! So that was major. Yep.
Strides in womanhood.
Girls made some strides then, This was funny when I read this one, because I remember when this one happened. So if some of you remember this, chime in. Richard Pryor set himself on fire.
Oh my God!
And I think like he denied. I think he said it was something to do with I don't know if it was lighting a grill or something, but people thought that he actually was just like trying to light a pipe or something, and then the lighter caught his like face on, because it was his face that got burned. So yeah, he set himself on fire. Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer were married in 1981, which.
Oh yeah, that's what Michael just mentioned. Actually, the royal wedding of Charles and Diana.
Yeah, 1981. Which, if you were around, and they actually televised that wedding, and I did remember watching it. It was like insane. Like, she did look like a princess. I mean, it was like every little girl's dream. Like, oh my God, it's so pretty. She's so pretty. So anyway, those were just like some highlights of some of the major highlights of the 80s. But then this is some of the stuff that kind of like actually came out and premiered in the 80s, which some of these Tay kind of hit on. But the Nintendo came out.
Oh my God.
So
the Nintendo.
Which I don't remember.
I love Mario Kart.
We had as kids the Atari system that you played, and it had these cartridges and things like that, but that was what we had. I don't really remember the Nintendo. The Nintendo has passed me, because by the time I was probably 10 or so, I was never, and my brother and I, we were never really into the video games.
Oh, listen, I was into the video games. So like my grandma has like the old school Atari somewhere. Probably,
right, yeah, and that was what we had.
So I've played that quite a few times, and I actually just bought one of those like Atari flashbacks.
Oh, cool.
Which is actually really cool, because it's like this little system, but it has like 30 games in it.
Oh, neat.
So we'll be doing that.
Yeah, fun.
But I also had a PS2, and I had great fun with that too.
Yeah. Yeah, we just didn't like, there were so many kids in my neighborhood that grew up on the street that we were on, because we lived on a dead end street. So we literally were always just out there kind of in the yard, you're riding our bikes, or playing hopscotch on the street, or playing on Zeke, or doing whatever, getting in a little bit.
Michael says, "Oh my gosh, Diana's train was like 30 feet long."
Right? Yeah, it was insane. I think she had all these little kids carrying it too, those little girls. All right, so a couple other well, here's some other stuff that happened or came out in the 80s. The Game Boy. So, I mean, Nintendo, that was kind of like...
There were some big strides in gaming.
Right, in gaming. The Sony Walkman. What? You had that thing, I remember, because I had one of those. I had
one of those,
yeah, too. And it had the little, wires, headband thing with the little, like, phone ear, you know.
Yes, I remember
and that. It had the little string, and then you had a little cassette player.
And I thought I was
strap
so cool.
it on the side and everything. And then, which that happened probably a little bit later into the more 80s or even maybe early 90s, was when those little CD ones came out.
Yeah.
You know, little Walkman CDs. But those things kind of didn't work out too well. Like, you walking.
Oh, I think that's what I
would
had
like
one of the
skip
CD
all the
ones,
time or something. It'd be like,
it was complicated.
Yeah, this isn't really going to work. Like, you got to just be using that when you're sitting down.
Listen, I was glad whenever the invention of the iPod came out.
Right, yeah. Or even those little, like, I had this little stick thing. And you could put, it was I think it was when, like, maybe the very first of the iTunes stuff came out. And this was like one of those little sticks. And you could plug it into your laptop and you could, have the songs and put it on the stick. And it had the small little earbuds. I ended up giving it to my dad, and my mom figured out how to use it. And he had gospel music put on it. And he would listen to it at church when he would do the yard work. So, yeah. All right, so I never had one of these, but I do recall these. Was the Casio calculator watch? I mean, you thought you were badass if you had one of those.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
VHS. I think we said that before, but yeah, that was when that
I had
came
plenty
out.
Of those, yeah.
Bud Light, I think maybe, yeah. Again, something weird that I thought was around a little longer. I always but what it was is they did read it something like Budweiser. They had that brand out for a long time, and then they finally decided to do a spinoff on it, and that was what the spinoff was.
So Michael chimed in and said he remembers LimeWire and the viruses. I remember all that too.
Yeah,
that was more like the 2000s, because I remember being a teenager and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think what was the first edition though? Because I think like LimeWire was like the second one, but there was like something before that which was similar. It was like that and then LimeWire. But I don't remember what it was called. So Michael might remember and he might chime in. But oh yeah, that did give my computer a few viruses. Right. I remember that. Had to get that computer cleaned up.
All right, so in 83, one of the popular things, which is funny because I have something I saw about this morning actually, or yesterday morning on the news, but the Cabbage Patch Dolls came out. And there was like $1.2 billion in revenue the first year they came out. But they actually have, I saw on the Today Show, and they do these little like pop star updates, but there's going to be a documentary apparently on the like Cabbage Patch Dolls.
So my grandma had like every Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh my God.
I should tell her about that.
Yeah.
So it was Napster. Okay, I was trying to remember what that was called. Okay, thank you, Michael.
Oh yeah, now I do remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and my mom actually, who could make and sew anything, she started making she called them the soft sculpture, but they were very similar to those Cabbage Patch dolls. And she made these dolls. She did their hair. She made hair with the yarn. And she would paint their faces. She did one for my aunt who had red hair and ponytails and freckles.
Oh, that's cute.
And she made me one. I still have it to this day. But she made, I don't remember how many of them she made because she sold them too.
Right.
But it's funny, she actually made her dad, because it pretty much was the dad that raised her, one. It was a male doll. His name was Rusty. And she made him anatomically correct. Like he had a little wee and some balls. Leave it to my mom. She was going to make sure he came with what he was supposed to.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So this is another one that I thought was kind of funny that came out. Chicken McNuggets.
You mean they weren't around before
that? Right.
Chicken McNuggets.
Chicken McNuggets.
That's good stuff right there.
Okay. So some Hot Pockets. Those came out later.
Listen, I used to eat a lot of those back in the day that I don't even think about eating them right now.
See, I didn't really, because I was still living at home. I was, like I said, so, and my mom cooked like solid meals, and she cooked food like every night. So we never really had a lot of that like processed stuff.
See, my parents, they always believed in feeding us, obviously, but they never really cooked anything from like scratch.
Right.
But we never cared because we always had food. We always got fed,
Well, and that's the thing, to each its own, because my neighbors, my mom, just like I said, my dad was gonna have a home cooked meal, and we didn't go out to eat because my dad worked the night shift. So she literally would have to have food cooked, and we would have to eat and be eating about like 6 o'clock every night.
Right.
So it was rare that we kind of did go out. But like my neighbors across the street, my best friend growing up, there were like 5 kids over there.
Yeah.
And they ate a lot of like fish sticks and like pizza,
Oh yeah, that
like
was
that
was us too.
She would make the goulash stuff and stuff like that, because you could obviously get probably more out of that than something like, but yeah, my mom,
yeah.
But and then my grandmother did the same thing. Ow, sorry.
See, then I think about it though, like me and my brother were always like running around doing things too.
Yeah.
So it's like, there wasn't always like that time to like have like a home cooked meal and stuff like that. So we did, eat a lot of pizza and chicken nuggets. And stuff like that.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why that was like, that worked for them,
But I just remember, whenever I would go to like my grandparents' house, like everything would always be like made from scratch, and all that type of stuff. Like my dad's mom, my late grandmother, she would make like homemade mac and cheese.
Oh man.
And I think me and my mom talked about this last week, if you happen to catch it.
Right, yeah.
We were talking about how we would love to replicate it. So we were trying to
I agree. My mom's like,
we were trying to think of like everything that went in it. But then I just think, I probably couldn't make it as good because whenever grandparents cook food, it just always
so much better.
It just always hits different because
oh my gosh,
because they put a lot of time and love into like the cooking. So I think it hits different whenever like grandparents make food as opposed to like you making it.
My grandmother used to make the best pot roast, and I'm not a big pot roast fan, but she would make some of the best. She made everything she made was always so good, and she made everything from scratch. She made the best biscuits. Oh my God. And she had this one biscuit pan. This was so funny. It was kind of a little bit bigger. It was almost like a small pie pan.
Yeah.
But she would always end up having like more than she made that, and that would be like the special biscuit. So if it was like your birthday or something like that or whatever, you got to have the big biscuit. But oh my God, nobody could ever. But I did find this brand. Speaking of that, I need to get some of these now. I'm thinking about it. They have this brand in the store in the frozen. I think it's called Miss Mary's or Miss Martha's. It's a Miss M something brand. But those biscuits are about the closest biscuits I've ever had to hers. They are so good. I need to get some of those.
Biscuits sound good,
right?
Some biscuits and sausage and gravy.
Now we're
hungry. Go for it. I'm not hungry. I'm just saying that sounds good. Like I could go for some biscuit and gravy breakfast. I'm thinking.
Oh, we need to do that one. I tell you what, that Cracker Barrel right on the street. They do have good sausage and gravy and biscuits.
Eggs Up Grill has it too. They have good sausage, gravy, and biscuits.
Oh, you know what? I did see somebody get that the last time I went, and it's funny because I go there all the time now, and I don't think about it. And she'll just say, "You want your usual?" And my usual is like the original breakfast or something. And I get my 2 eggs scrambled and the bacon and grits, and usually no bread. But they brought that over next to me, and I said, "Dang, Chrissy, you need to look more at that menu. You get the same thing every time." Anyway, all right. So a couple more here on this list. Nerds candy. Oh my God! I used to love that candy, and I'm not a big candy person.
I ain't even gonna lie.
I do remember loving the Nerds. Axe body spray.
Oh God! I just remember like the boys in junior high,
right? Oh my
spraying
God.
way too much of that shit, and like we would think we were cool because like back in the day, like if you had a boyfriend, like you knew he was yours whenever like he gave you his hoodie to wear.
Right.
And I just remember that like the boys' hoodies. I mean, I didn't have a boyfriend like that back in the day, but you know, like I had a lot of guy friends, and you know, like I would wear their hoodies sometimes, and it would just like smell like Axe.
Right? Yeah. That was some potent stuff. Now, still
man.
around to this day.
Yeah, I don't think it's as strong as it used to be, though.
No,
no, which is good.
All right, so 3 point. Oops.
What did Michael say? Let's see. Oh, there's like some pop-ups in the way here. How do I? Okay.
There you go.
They would always spray it on the bus, Michael said.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I can see that.
All right, so 3.5-inch floppy disk. I remember those because that was when I was working at a job, and we had one computer, and then we had these other like memory typewriters that were horrendous because they were these huge typewriters, and they had this big swing arm thing. And my boss had one. Mine didn't have the monitor, but my boss had one that actually had a monitor on it. Mine just had this little screen on the bottom of it that I could only see like a couple of lines or up to a certain amount of characters as I was typing on the thing. So yeah, I mean, and then we had this one printer that printed off on this like green barred paper, and it was this dot matrix printer, and so it would go zzz, like it had this sound, and she would have to always print these spreadsheets every day, and I think I would have to kick off. I can't even tell you how many times a day, but yeah, long way that the computer technology is
right.
All right, so the other stuff that I kind of looked up that was 80s related, which these are kind of cool. So we did some songs, and now we're gonna do some TV, is the best TV shows. So, which I never watched this show, but I guess a lot of people did, was 21 Jump Street.
Oh, I know it was big back in the day,
yeah,
but I've never seen any reruns.
Yeah, I don't think that was one I ever get involved with. Booker, which I think was like a detective kind of type show.
I never seen an episode of that either.
Didn't really watch that one, and I can recall. MacGyver. Now I did watch me some MacGyver.
I never watched.
Oh my god, he did all the cool stuff. Like he would. Oh, this is funny because I still actually to this day will watch that because it's on one of my channels. But he would always get caught in these situations and have to get his way, break his way out, and figure it out.
Yeah.
And what I thought was always funny, but you know, it's a TV show; it's got to keep going. But every time he got caught by people, they didn't like kill him; they just like tied him up or put him. You know, it was like they just didn't take him out. And so, but that was the reason behind the show, so he could kind of get out and do crazy stuff that he did.
Right.
But yeah, that show's still kind of funny to this day. Street Hawk, don't remember that one.
I don't know that one.
Airwolf, don't recall that
What's
one.
That?
I know, right? Never heard of that one. Spencer for Hire. Now I do recall that one. That was one where I think it was like a detective or something. I never really watched it, but I do remember that one. Number 7 was In the Heat of the Night. That was that one where you had for what's his name? I can see his face now. The older guy with the white hair. Anyway, and that one was actually a show based out of a town in Georgia. But anyway, yeah. Copy show or whatever. Magnum PI. Whoa, with some Tom Selleck, man. He used to wear it. Was the funniest thing. And there's another show now or a network now that runs that show on during the afternoons. But he used to wear these shorty shorts, you know.
Yeah.
He had those long, nice looking legs and everything. He had those Dobermans, those big Doberman dogs that were so awesome. Yeah, we still love that one. And then the A-Team, that was another cool show.
Yes.
Mr. T.
Yes.
And then the Equalizer, which I think there's actually a new Equalizer that's on. And I don't know if that's mirrored to be the same as what that one was, I guess, back then at that time. I didn't watch either one of them.
Didn't Married with Children come out in the 80s?
I think that was an 80s sitcom, yeah.
I love Married with Children. I love me some Al Bundy. He's hilarious.
Sorry, I have a frog in my throat. Little phlegmy going on.
It's all good.
Yeah, that show was a trip.
Oh my God, I laugh so hard at every episode of that whenever I watch it.
Which now, he's in like another show now, and I just can't. And they had him with what's her name,
Sofia Vergara.
Yes, and I'm like, why would they put those two together? Like, come on, I can't even watch it. Like, there's some shows I just can't watch.
I'm trying to think. Modern Family.
Yeah, as much as I like
it's pretty
the characters, though. And I mean, I have seen it a couple times, but it's like I just can't. It's one I never got into that I watched like consecutively.
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
All right, so now I'm going to kind of just go through the top 10 movies, which is cool because a lot of these I saw. I think there's only one on this list I did not see. And you mentioned this one earlier. So number 1 is Stand By Me.
Listen, that gets me right in the feels.
So good.
That gets me right in the feels.
So good.
Rest in peace, River Phoenix.
Right, yes.
Beautiful
oh my God.
soul.
That was such a good movie.
Yes, beautiful soul. Movie. I love Will Wheaton too. I think he's
fantastic. yeah. Okay, number 2 is The Lost Boys, which I don't really recall.
Listen, I love The Lost Boys. I don't know if I
really saw that movie or not.
So, y'all can have Twilight and all that shit, all that.
Wasn't that a vampire?
Yeah, all the glamorized vampire movies. Go ahead now.
Wait, did they have Brad Pitt in it?
No, Kiefer Sutherland was in it though.
Oh, okay.
But I'll take The Lost Boys any day of the week if we're talking about
that vampire movie was Brad Pitt.
And the 2 Corys were in that, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Okay, wait, I did see that.
Yeah.
But I have to look that up because there was a vampire movie that he was in.
That who was in?
Who did I just say?
Brad Pitt.
Yes.
Was it Interview with a Vampire?
Yes, because it was like that young girl. She was like 13 years old that played that character in that movie. He sucked her neck. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Oh, Lord.
All right. Full Metal Jacket. Saw that, but that was a harsh movie to watch because it was military and it was like rough. Like that sergeant in that movie was insane. And like, yeah, it was rough.
I like Stanley Kubrick, but I have never seen that movie.
It's a hard movie to watch. Like I can watch some like, I guess military related type movies, but like some of the ones that are like, it's just like they show these kids and they're just getting like blown up and guts coming out and stuff like that. Like I can't watch a lot of that. That doesn't set well with me. And I know that happened, but so.
No, I got you.
But there are a couple like iconic scenes in that movie. Number 4, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh my God, such a good movie.
Matthew Broderick.
I can't even tell you how many times I've seen that
one. Love it.
Number 5, Bueller. I love that when the sisters finally like realizing because everybody's going around like trying to save Ferris, and she's like, "What the hell's going on? Didn't you hear?" And she was like so mad. And then Charlie Sheen was in it. Remember when she got arrested and went to the jail, and she was like second base with him.
Good Lord.
All right, The Goonies. Oh my God, that was such a good movie.
Don't hate me, but I've never seen it.
Oh my God, it's the cutest movie
I need to go
ever.
watch it. Yeah,
yes, you do have to watch it. It's so cute. All right, now I know you've seen The Breakfast Club though.
Oh, of course. Of course I've seen The Breakfast Club.
Oh man, that was such a good movie.
Yeah, that's another coming of age.
And it's funny because there were a couple of those like kids in there, and I'm probably not going to be able to think of the actors' names right off the top of the bat, but that were in a couple other of the 80s movies, like Pretty in Pink.
Well, yeah, they had something called the Brat Pack.
Right, and they were like...
It was like a group of actors who were like in all the movies at that time.
Right,
it was like Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy? Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall, Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald.
Right, yeah.
I can't think of who else. Rob Lowe was, I think.
Yeah.
Rob Lowe's one fine.
Oh my God.
He's fine looking man.
He's still fine.
He may have done some questionable things in his past, but that's a fine man right
there. Oh yeah. I always have the hots for him. But yeah, they are. All those movies were like iconic to me. All of them were just like really cool, like well-made movies back then.
I agree.
Watched them over and over. All right, number 7 was Scarface. Rough one to watch too, kind of in a way. Yeah. So, number 8, Once Upon a Time in America. That's one I don't think I ever saw.
I never seen that.
And I think that was kind of like another brutal type of movie. Number 9, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Oh
yes.
my God, that was such
I
an
love
awesome
that
movie.
one too. That's so good too.
As a matter of fact, we were watching something earlier, and I was like, Beverly Hills Cop, and I was like, wasn't that guy in
Judge Reinhold?
Yeah, and
whatever did happen to him anyway?
Isn't that right?
Probably faded into oblivion like all these other people.
Some of those one hit, like do a couple movies and then no more. All right, and the last one is Top Gun. Top Gun in the 80s
to the danger zone.
So yeah, that was kind of what I had for tonight.
Yes.
Man, I learned some stuff there. That was cool.
So did I.
Nice to hit. We'll have to do another era that we're more familiar with now.
I want to do the 90s next.
Yeah, because we were a little older.
I mean, because I was.
Well, if we did the 80s tonight, we should do the 90s next week.
Then. Yeah, because I was born in the 90s, so by the time that like the end of the 90s hit, like I was 10 years old, and I remember like some of that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, really, we should do that then.
That sounds.
Philo, we can already have a topic for you for next week.
Could
look at us.
Just start doing all the eras.
Oh yeah, there we go. We're in the 90s. Let's go to 2000. Let's go to 2010. We got a couple more we can go through. It is interesting to see though how some of the stuff has changed. Like some of that stuff back in the day, I remember that stuff.
Oh yeah, So yeah, I think that's about all that we have for y'all. Is there anything else that you wanted to
we did a long
add to the
tonight,
we did. It's been over an hour, and that's never happened. Yeah. So that was pretty impressive. But
rambling on.
We did. All right. So yeah, just send me some good vibes, everybody, that somebody comes to look at my house.
Yes, we need that to go well for Tay-Tay.
Yeah, keep me in your prayers so that I can get my house sold.
Yes.
All right. So I think that's it. So did you want to sign off for the evening?
Yes, I am. Good.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in and joining in on the conversation.
Yes.
We appreciate it. We always appreciate hearing from you guys and hearing your input. You can always email us to twochickstellall@gmail.com. We love hearing from y'all. And I think that's about it. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Probably with like a 90s topic.
I know. I think
Although I gotta look. What? Oh, my birthday's next week, y'all. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So my birthday is next Tuesday. So,
Yay!
So by the time you hear from me next, I'll be 32 years old.
There you
go. Okay. So yeah, I was trying to look because I'm going away the first week of October. So if you want to do one by yourself that week, go ahead and have at it.
That's not going to happen. Tay-Tay's the one that does all the mechanical stuff. I don't even know how to get on there and do anything. I know how to bring the computer into the living room and hook up the microphone. So, yeah, we'll just be on a week break when Tay-Tay's out.
Yeah, so me and my mom actually did it from my phone last week.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it actually turned out pretty good. So, that's always an option too. Just talking to your phone. That's what we did.
Yeah.
All right. So it's your girl Tay-Tay signing off.
And Cece.
And we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Peace out.